Hello, everyone, for the Gifts of God program. And I want to talk today about our last day in Bali, where we were invited by our driver, Agung, who we later found out was a very high caste person and related to the Balinese royal family. And even though he's a driver, uh, we noticed very early on how elegant he was. And it always felt like Lord Shiva was driving our car. He's that impeccable and that, upright in his aura, in his being, in the way he deals with people. So then we found out later on this trip that he's actually a very high caste Balinese. And that's probably why he's so poised and so clear. One of the reasons. So the last day we were there, he invited us to his home for a special ceremony. And this ceremony is done for every baby in Bali when they're 3 months old. And what happens at 3 months is they touch the earth for the first time. So for the first 3 months of a baby's life, they do not set the baby down on the ground in any shape or form. The baby is kept towards the breast of the mother or in the arms of the father or the grandmother, a close family member. So they nurture this closeness. And you do notice in the Balinese culture that people don't really have fears and neuroses and all these other kinds of symptoms that are very common in the Western societies. But in Bali, people are very secure in themselves. And Sandra and I believe that one of the reasons they are so secure is that their families are so strong and they have very good birth practices, very good, gentle, peaceful birthing practices. And then even this practice of keeping the baby next to the parent very closely for at least 3 months. And then they have a sacred ritual, which is kind of like a wedding. It's like all the families invited, the extended family. There could be 150 people there, right? So Agung invited us to his granddaughter's 3 months touching the earth ceremony on the last day we were in Bali. And it was just incredible. We were so moved. And we wanted to share that a little bit with you today, how that looked. And just contemplate that. If you were not only held at your very birth when you come out by your mother, there's no separation, but for the first 3 months, there's no separation. So it's such a gentle transition from the spirit world through the womb, coming out of the birth, then being next to the mother, and then being next to the family. It's such a gentle transition. People in Bali don't have many fears or insecurities because their family structure is so strong that they just have a sense of place. And plus their community sense is so strong. So whenever they have these very frequent ceremonies, religious ceremonies, the whole family is invited, the whole community is invited, and every house or every complex of houses has a temple, and they use it every day. So their holiness is put in the first place. And in the case of Agung, his grandfather built the houses where he lives, and it's for the extended family. So his brothers and their family live there. I think his mother may still be alive. So the whole, and now his children are living in this compound. So it's what they call an extended family, joint family system. So we were invited to this ceremony, and I just wanted to show you some of these pictures from the there's a specific name for it, but it's for the 3-month ceremony where the baby is set on the ground. So let me see if I can get this to come up. And yeah, so, okay. So can you all see those thumbnails? Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I'll just start from the top. I'll give you a few Sandra and Marcus pics we took before going. And that's the other thing, whenever we're invited to a Balinese Balinese ceremony, we always dress up accordingly so that we're honoring, you know, their culture. So this is our pretty much Balinese dress. Let me see if I can get this to shift. There we go. Okay. So we took a few shots. Oh, and you can see that one of the main things in Bali that the artisans do is elaborate wood carving. So in the background, you can see these doors. They're all hand carved, and they're very elaborate. We're covering them up, but there's like 2 figures of Rama and Sita a little bit lower, and they're kind of praying towards each other. It's very beautiful. And this is the doorway to our villa, right? And this is, well, that's the doorway, the outside doorway to our villa. That was the inside doorway to our villa. So one thing about Balinese architecture is it's very melded with nature. There's a strong sense of material and how it's integrated with nature. So every building has, you know, incredible plant life, and, you know, the naturalness of the stone that's usually covered in moss. I mean, you really get a sense that their architecture and nature are melded together. So let's see. Yeah, this is before we went to the ceremony. And this is another carving in stone on our villa. And these are the Balinese dancers in the background. You know, they have incredible Balinese dance, and they honor that even in the architecture. They make, you know, reliefs. This is actually bas relief of the dancers. Okay, so now every house or house complex, when you come in, they have a Ganesh. And see, the Ganesh is like a clearing of obstacles. And they always have a Ganesh. As you come in the door, the first thing you see is a Ganesh. And so it's kind of like you pay your homage to Ganesh. And this little basket with the red and the green flowers, they put those offerings. Those are offerings that they put all around the house, outside the house, at the workplace. They make hundreds of these things every day, and they put them there to kind of honor the gods. So it's like they do a puja every day, and they put flowers on these murtis, these figures of their deities. So every day they do this. It's not like just on Sunday. No, it's a way of life. They do it every day. They do these honorings of their deities every day. Give it incense, give it food, give it flowers, different things. Now, this is an example of a Balinese house, and they usually have this veranda, And look how intricately carved the doorways are and the windows. They have this elaborate, kind of iconography and decorative motifs. They're very similar on all the buildings, but they're very floral. They're very elaborate, intricate. Just look at the intricacy of these carvings on the building. And then even in the wood on the ceiling, the posts are carved. And this is just the front porch for Agung's house where he lives in, right? And this is a photo of his granddaughter. And he has a floral offering. And this is Agung's little grandson. I think he's probably about 3 or 4 years old. And we just arrived, and he's all dressed up in his best outfit for this family ceremony. And these are a couple cousins. And this is Agung's daughter-in-law and the baby that they're honoring, the baby that they're putting down for the first time in 3 months. Yeah, and this is, we gave her a card and a gift, a little dress and some money. And her name is very long. It's like E Gusti Agung Ayu Anindya Pratiwi Lakshmi. That's her name. E Gusti Agung Aya Anindya Pratiwi Lakshmi. Now I know what Lakshmi means. That's like the goddess of prosperity. So this kid's probably gonna do okay financially because she has the right name, right? Okay. And there's Agung and Sandra. So they're so hospitable. I mean, before the ceremony even started, we sit in this area and Agung is there to make sure we feel welcomed, and he brings us beverages and makes sure we're comfortable. And we're the only Westerners there, mind you. Like, if there's about 150 Balinese family members and community members there. So he made sure that we felt, welcomed and comfortable. And yeah, everything. So he's quite an incredible man. And this is Agung and his grandson, and probably a couple of nephews, or maybe some children of his brothers or grandchildren of his brothers. And this is, they have so many things beautifully done with nature. This is like a koi pond, a big, well, we would call them goldfish, but they get really big. They get like this big because they make these ponds for them. And then maybe there's like a couple dozen of these goldfish in there, and they're just beautiful. And so this is a special pond that he made for that. And just look at the vegetation. It's so lush. It's so integrated with the architecture. It's like a paradise. It really is. Now, these are some of the offerings. Every religious ceremony they do, even the smallest one, they would never do it without some offering to the deities, So they make these very elaborate fruit and vegetable and reed, woven reed baskets and these palm leaf decorations. This is very common. So in this ceremony, which is quite uh, quite special. They have a lot of these offerings. You can just see how elaborate it is. Now this is the priest, and she's saying a lot of mantras and honoring the child, and she's in this little kind of a little canopy, and that's common. The priests are always under this little canopy, and they're saying mantras and offering the elements. They're doing water purifications and mantra purifications. So she's starting the process of this setting the baby down when the baby's 3 months. She's the one. She's actually the high priest. So women and men are priests in Bali. And the way we asked about her, and Agung said her husband had been the high priest, but then when he died, that was transferred over to her. So she, of course, had been helping him all those years, but then when he passed away, she took over his role. So that's often the case. Like it may be a couple who are both in the priestly duties. So this particular lady, has taken over the high priestly duties of her husband. And now she may have been in the family, like this priest may have been in the family of 4 or 5 or 6 generations of being that priest. So it's a lineage. It's a very long lineage. And there are many different levels of priesthood in Bali, but she's the highest that they go. This is just a sculpture. They often have flanking either a stairway or a doorway. And they're very big at having these kind of monstrous figurines that are kind of protecting the temple. And so you kind of have to face these protectors that are very fierce. That's very common in Balinese architecture. Now this is a table with all the offerings, and just look at the elaborateness of the weavings, the reeds, the palm leaves, how they cut them and color them and construct them. And and this fabric that's around the table at the bottom, look how elaborate that is. That's a little bit away from it. Agung, he really made sure we felt welcome. This is Agung's wife. She's very beautiful. And this is the traditional Balinese dress for women. They usually have an embroidered lace top, white top, and a very colorful batik, sarong, they call it. And then they always have a sash, that sash around the middle. And that's the traditional Balinese dress for women. And she's mastered it. Here's a close-up of one of the offerings. It's so colorful. When you look at just the brilliance of the color alone, like where are you going to find that kind of color in a holy setting, It's just amazing. And this is like a offering, and those little sticks have like fried or cooked meat on the ends, So those are offerings, and I think that, I don't know what that middle part is. It's probably some kind of a bread or something that the sticks are stuck in. But on the ends of them are like shish kebabs. They're kind of like shish kebabs. Yeah. Okay, so now this is the area where they're giving all the pujas to put the baby down. So I'm not going to play that video in particular, but that's what they're doing. They're preparing the ground for the baby to be set down. Oh, there's another offering with Rice Krispies. I thought that was pretty cool. Just the color. Look at the color of it. That green. Where have you seen that green? And this is one of the priests. He's cleansing the area with incense and saying different mantras to prepare the area for the baby. He has a very gentle nature. I really liked the way he looked. And now, don't ask me the full significance, but I know pigs are very much significant in Balinese ceremonies. And when they make an offering, they usually have a roast pig. And this is the pig. I know it may shock you at first, but when you think about it, I don't know about you, but we're not vegetarians. So we eat meat, not so much pork, but we eat meat. And if you really trace that back to the origin of how it got on our table, it would look something like this. We kind of clean it up so we don't ever have to see that it's a real animal, and we just think it's something we eat, but we're kind of twice removed from it. The actuality that it's an animal. And this one makes you very well aware this is a pig, right? And it's a roast pig. Here's more of those offerings, those kind of shish kebab offerings. And these are some Balinese ladies, some matrons. And one thing that we noticed about Balinese is they are very happy. They have a natural joy de vivre. And even though you're like a Westerner and maybe, in other cultures, you would be kind of standing out and maybe set aside. But in Balinese culture, when you're invited somewhere, you're totally embraced by them. You're made to feel welcome. And all these ladies were very happy to see us. And, all you need to do is look over their way and smile, and they'll definitely smile back at you. And it's just such a joyful culture. Now, this is the back of Agung's wife's hairpiece. These are like gold. It's like a gold hairpiece with some flowers. I just thought that was so beautiful, that whole thing. And there's another critter going up the stairs to the little area where they do their prayers. And then these are some of the people there, and you can see she's got the baby with a little crown on her head, ready for the ritual. So, I mean, can you imagine, like, the kids are treated like royalty? Yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness. The little crown. This is the area where they're going to set her down for the first time. I have one video. Let me see if I can come to it quickly. Yeah, this photo I really liked. This one. Yeah. They're getting ready to set her down. Yeah, they're honoring the offerings. They're going around and doing little pujas and honoring the offerings that they're giving. You know, I think that one that I passed might be the one where they actually put the baby down. Let me see. Okay, here's the one. Yeah, this is it.
Segan na, segan. Segan, sige, segan. Segan, segan, sige, segan. Ganyan, sige, ganyan. Pon. Tatap. Ano? Tabong. Tabong, boss.
Ủa, ta cha là chung là như vậy, ta cha là chung là như vậy. Ê, chung là như vậy.
Vang cái đèn.
Thì đẹp cắn chay ăn cứ.
Ini makan, amel. Ini nandan ko siguro na. Guna. Mau masuk.
Okay, well, that was the first time that human being touched the ground since she was born. So that is one of the most sacred rites in Bali that they do. And I'm glad you could see it. And then after that, they just do, they do a few more pujas. Let me see. Okay, they're kind of honoring the offerings. They're cleansing the offerings. And now when we get to here, they're going over to the high priest. And what they do next is they give the baby gold. So they go to the high priest and then see this little basket with the red. It's all full of gold necklaces, gold. I mean, real stuff, you know, not fake stuff. It's real gold. And they put gold bracelets on the baby, gold necklaces on the baby, gold ankle bracelets on the baby to kind of ensure that this child is going to have a sense of prosperity and longevity. So they really make sure that all bases are handled. So this baby is now getting her first encounter with gold, with prosperity, with, you know, that kind of thing, abundance. So they're starting to put the gold around the baby. And they cut some of her hair and they do some kind of a puja with that. She didn't like it too much.
Ceremony for the new life.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Very new life.
So this whole elaborate process takes about 1.5 to 2 hours. So we were there for at least well, a little bit before, having some chats and a beverage, and then once the ceremony started, it took about 1.5 to 2 hours, and then after that they have a big feast. So that took another hour. So we were there for about 3.5 hours for this whole thing. And this is the high priest lady doing some kind of a blessing. Yeah, she was very powerful, this lady. And there's our friend Agung. Oh yeah, okay, so now I think this is where the baby's getting gold bracelets, gold necklace. Yeah. Yeah, you can see there, she's got the gold bracelets, gold necklace. And in this little thing around her neck, that little sort of cylinder thing, there are prayers written in that and stuck inside that little gold barrel. I just love this one offering with the eyes. It's sort of very Buddhist kind of looking. And these are different ladies doing different things in the ceremony. That's the grandmother of the baby. So that would be Agung's sister-in-law. You know, it's the mother of his daughter-in-law, and she was very prominent in the ceremonies. Yeah, more. Oh, these are offerings where it's in a different, it's not in the temple area, it's in front of the house. So the house where they live, they do a whole other set of ceremonies to honor that, so that when they go in the house with the kind of, it's like almost a baptism of sorts, that it's all new energy. It's been cleansed. So the priest is doing a whole other ceremony in front of the house. And there's, of course, another pig. There's another pig there. So these are all honoring the house where the couple's going to live with the baby. And that's Agung's son. That's the father there, straight back, and then his wife to the far right, and his mother-in-law holding the baby right there in the front. And I don't know, I was kind of intrigued by this pig. Poor little guy. But I think he went to a good cause. There's the mother-in-law. Yeah. Oh, and then they take the baby back to the temple area and they put her in a swing. Now, don't ask me exactly what the significance of this is, but they put her in this swing and they swing her back and forth in this swing a little bit, not too long, maybe less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds in the swing. More pujas, more pujas. This is, I think, getting towards the end. Not to hope I'm not boring you, but yeah, they're getting towards the end of all the pujas. Oh, yep, that's the end. There's our bags as we left for the U.S. We leave some bags in Bali. Our owner of our villas, we're very good friends with him, Made, Mr. Made, and he keeps our bags with our Balinese clothes till the next year, so we don't have to bring them all back and then take them all back. No, he just keeps them there for us. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that it wasn't boring. It certainly wasn't for us. I know a couple occasions Sandra was in tears. It was so profound. And for me too. And I think that being included in that sacred of thing in a culture that you didn't grow up in, and to be welcomed to that degree was quite moving in itself. And this is why we take people to Bali every year, because not only do we need that exposure to that kind of sacred lifestyle, but that's one of the main things we can give people, is to take them and introduce them to these places on earth where the gap between your divine self and your daily self is very small, right? So like Agung, our friend, the driver, he lives in that state of holiness all the time. They don't see a difference between your daily life and your sacred life. It's all the same. And they bring the sacred into their daily life. And this is why we love Bali. And it's somewhat the same in India. You know, that's why we go to India every year. People in India take their spiritual life very seriously, and it's on a daily basis. It's not like, oh, once a week. No, it's on a daily basis. They have a daily practice of their honoring of their spiritual connection. So this is one of the reasons why we go to Bali, and we hope that you'll join us on one of these trips. So, well, that's it on the ceremony for the child's first contact with the earth after 3 months. So I hope you enjoyed it, and yes, we'll have more to share.